Okay, this is now the 5-Minute Tarot for the 25th of September 2017. And a couple of days ago, I told you the quote that became the starting point for this particular video. And the quote was, "The aim of the devil is distraction." And I read that somewhere. I can't remember where. So I thought, when I read that, I immediately thought of the devil card. And the devil is distraction, and that's the devil's aim. So I thought it might be worth rambling on about, or giving you some ideas, or thinking aloud for myself about what that particular quote would mean or could mean for the devil card in a reading. So this is not complete, and so I may leave out important bits that I'll come back to later, or you may have questions. How did I make the connection between this and that? Or how did I make the jump from this idea to that idea? So if you've got questions, let me know in the comments. And okay, so if I can begin with the card itself, let's say you've got a question and the devil card comes up. Ideally, we look at the picture, because everybody can look at pictures and they can understand what's going on. But if you start talking about astrological symbolism, most people are going to be lost. Whereas we can look at a picture and we can see this dark background and this devil creature and the two people with the chains around their neck. But if we look, I think the predominant impression, well, a good starting point for the card is it's dark. And what light there is in the picture, the devil creature has a wooden torch of some sort, but instead of holding it up the normal way, it's held down. So what light there is upside down. And this is, if you think of the Hermit card, where he's standing and he's got this light and he's holding it up. If the devil had been holding a torch upright, then the light would have been able to shine, and it would have kind of made sense. But if the hermit represents wisdom from the light being held up, then the devil, because the source of light is pointed down, and it's the wrong direction. So maybe the hermit is wisdom and the devil is stupidity. And that can be an idea that we associate with the card, so that when the devil card comes up for a questioner, we make sure that they act wisely or sensibly, and they don't do stupid things, because we all do stupid things from time to time, and we know it. But so make sure we don't allow ourselves to do what's obviously not a sensible thing to do. Maybe with the devil reverse, we're going to not listen to our own best self, but we're going to actually do something stupid. Okay, so at the same time, with that torch held down, it's as if what seems to be going, it's like what seems to be going on isn't actually the truth, or there's another story that's going on, and it's going to be important to distinguish between what appears to be going on and what's really going on. Or else we can think that with the light, there's a light in the torch, but it's the wrong way. So we can think that what we can see because of the light of the torch, it's going to be skewed or not quite right. So how much can we trust it? How much can we trust the appearance that seems to be, or that is going on? And that may be the basis of the kind of information that we give the questioner. So maybe we say to them, you're in the dark, or you're going to be in the dark, so shine a light. And that can mean make it clear. Make whatever it is clear. So if you've got a plan to do something, don't just have a vague idea, but shine a light on it and examine it and make sure that it actually is what you think it is. Or so you would speak about and give information to do with lighting things and making them clear, depending what the question is. because with some things like mathematics, we can trust what we've been told, right? So 2 + 2 is 4, and we can trust with that. However, with the devil card, it's not so easy to have clear ideas and clear guidance about what the devil represents. It's not like 2 + 2 is 4, and we can take that and work with it and build on it. Because really, what is the devil? We use the word, or people use the word, and we may think, it's a question, what actually is the devil? What are we dealing with? Because we might think that the devil is a person and it's the opposite of God. But that's not what the devil is. Partly because God isn't a person. Even though we might think that God is this old fellow up in the sky looking out for us individually. God is not that. And by extension, the devil isn't this evil old fellow down in hell who's got his eye on you and wants to cause you problems. Because the idea of God, the creative force, or divine, whatever it happens to be, it's more like God is an activity, or a way of behaving, or a way of acting. So it's more like God is a verb and not a noun. At the same time, the devil isn't probably an entity. I know it's easy to think that the devil is a real, live, evil thing, but is it really an entity, or is the devil a supernatural being? I mean, think of horror movies, right, where you've got people who are possessed by the devil, and they're all scary, and they're frightening, and they're twisted and ugly, and they want to cause you problems. They're malevolent. They wish you evil things. So it's easy to think that the devil represents this supernatural being that has it in for us. But is that really what's going on with the devil? And I don't think it is. This is what I meant before about giving you ideas, but how do I make the leap from, you know what I mean? So you may want to ask me some questions or leave a comment about what your take is on the idea of the devil. But we have an expression in English anyway, the devil made me do it. And so when the devil card comes up in a reading, it can be that the person might think, okay, the devil made me do it. And if we think of the devil that way, then we're giving up responsibility. So if the devil made me do it, it's not my fault. I didn't do it. The devil made me do it, or the devil did it. So it's easy to go from, well, it's not my responsibility, to blaming other people, to becoming helpless. Well, the devil made me do it. I couldn't do anything about it. It's not my responsibility. You know, it is much stronger than I am. So you're thinking along the lines of giving into weakness, or thinking that you're unable, or that you can't, or that you were incapacitated. You were unable to think, to function properly by yourself, for yourself. And again, this is a kind of idea that you might want to include in your interpretation of the card. So when the devil comes up, people might go into a situation thinking there's nothing they can do to control the situation, or there's nothing they can do about it, or that they're going to find themselves unable to do whatever it is that they want to do. So thinking of the devil this way, that it's a supernatural being, or this real live evil thing, it kind of leads to lack. That we're heading in the direction of lacking, of being unable, or experiencing inability, or we say, well, I can't, or we can't, or it's not possible, or it's impossible. So generally the devil can represent thinking along the lines of being negative. But I want to say that the devil isn't another person or an entity with supernatural power. It's actually our own ideas and our own thinking that traps us, or that talks us into difficulty. I don't know, I mean, I probably at this point ought to justify that, but I want to move on, and I'll come back to this later. if not today, then some point in the future, partly depending on what comments, if any, you have. Okay, so the quote that I began with was, "The aim of the devil is distraction." But it's saying the aim of the devil, but it's not like somebody else is picking us out. It's not like something is aiming at us and deciding that they're going to cause us problems or that we deserve to suffer. That kind of thinking, inability, being on the receiving end of negativity or hostility, that's kind of thinking in darkness. But then when I made a couple of notes about this beforehand, and I was thinking, darkness, it made me think of the Dark Ages. So maybe how much of the way we think and what we believe and what we've been taught is true actually comes from the Dark Ages, from a time period when life was hard. It was supposed to be hard, but when there was control and people there wasn't much education, and people were kind of kept in the dark. And how much are we still under the influence of ideas that began or developed or were strong in the Dark Ages? How much are we still under the influence of those types of ideas? So back to the quote, "The aim of the devil is distraction." If the aim is distraction, then with this card, it's important to keep our focus, or to continue to concentrate, to keep concentrating. And then we choose if we're going to keep going or if we're going to allow ourselves to be sidetracked and taken off course. And the thing is, it's a course that we set for ourselves. Because I've said at various times in the past, we get to choose what we want. I know lots of people will tell you that you can't have anything, or you can't have it, or you have to ask permission. But I think because we're people, mankind, people, men and women, part of being human is that we actually get to choose what it is that we want. And if we make up our mind and choose wisely and stick with it and figure out, and don't waste time thinking, should I or shouldn't I, or am I justified in asking for this? If you choose it and it's your decision and you want it, then you spend time thinking about how you're going to get it and what steps to take, what activity to become involved in that will get you to the whatever it is that you want. But the devil can mean that you'll give up, or you'll get distracted, or you'll lose concentration, you'll lose focus. And maybe if the devil is upright in the future for somebody, you say to them, watch out for distractions. The aim of the devil is distraction. So watch out for distractions, and when you get distracted, come back to whatever it is that you want to do. Whereas when if the devil is reversed, maybe it's the same idea. The person is going to experience distractions, but because the devil is reversed, the distractions are going to be more distracting, maybe, or they're going to be more powerful, or they're going to be stronger to take them away from what it is that they want or what they've chosen. So maybe with the devil reversed, you say to the person, you've got the devil reversed in the future. Okay, so write out your plan, or write out your idea, or make a note about what your idea is, or what direction you want to go in, and look at your note 3 times a day just to remind yourself. Because if you don't, you're going to forget, or you're going to get confused, or you're going to go in a direction that's really not, it's the one that you thought you wanted to go on, but it's actually not. And you'll discover that if you actually look at your note, look at the words that you wrote, that'll keep you on track. Okay, that was something about the devil card in a reading, and the aim of the devil is distraction. So what do you think? Do you agree or disagree? Or do you have things to add? Have I left out too much that I think is true, or it makes sense to me? But if it doesn't make sense to you, let me know, and maybe we could have a bit of discussion. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a couple of days. Okay, bye-bye.